I do remember I went to church like 2 times in my life in my country, and I always cried.
Good situations are blessings. Negative situations are blessings too. Because Allah is trying to teach you something.
When Allah loves you, He tells the angels to love you too.
Ever since I reverted to Islam and started loving Allah more, I've started to be able to trust Allah more.
What if this was the last prayer you ever did? So you're gonna let that last prayer be like the worst one that you ever did? Come on.
How has Islam changed you, would you say? I guess my first question is, how long have you been a Muslim? Like, when did you revert?
So it was before my birthday, and my birthday's on November 18th, right? If we follow the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
Um, so it was before that. So if you make the math, it will be around like two 2 months and like 15 days.
Do you remember what led up to you reverting to Islam?
What
Was it one thing or a bunch of different things?
can I tell you something? It was truly like stepping on a ladder, right? So
Mm,
I was going up and up and up and up and up and up. And so there were many signs, but I never really saw them because I was just going up. But then
yeah.
when the Palestinian, you know, like the Palestinian genocide that's still ongoing, like really started like showing up on my Instagram, and I actually started like
Mm,
seeing the truth. I I look
mm,
back. I look back at like all the steps that I took in life, and then I saw, oh wow, there were so many signs. There were so
mm,
many signs, but they were little. They were so small, so I didn't really notice them.
mm.
So it was bound to happen. I think it was bound to happen 100%. Like it wasn't something that just
Mashallah.
happened. It was something that it was like I don't even like pork. Do you know what I mean? Little tiny things like
Yeah.
that that can make it easy for me. Like I hated pork when I was little. Why did I hate pork?
Mm,
It was so random because I
yeah.
grew up in a family
Yeah.
that loves pork. My mom would feed me pork and I'd be like, oh no, mom, it's not. I would,
Really?
yes, and so like if somebody feeds me pork, I wouldn't know what it tastes like. So I hope
Wow.
that never happens. Wait, I don't think people
Yeah.
need to do that. But yeah, you
So
know.
it was almost like Allah was just like guiding you there slowly and slowly and
Yeah,
slowly.
so,
Wow.
I mean, personally, I think everybody's story is like that. I genuinely
Yeah.
believe that.
My
So,
story's like that too.
what?
It's only in hindsight when I look back and I realize all the things that Allah was just either placing in my heart, placing in my mind, or just placing around me. That I look back and I'm like, wow, I could have never planned that, right? As
100%.
hard, if I, doesn't matter how hard I try, I would never be able to plan it the way Allah planned it.
A hundred
Because
percent.
Allah is like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just too amazing. Did you have any hesitation when you got to the point where you knew in your heart that you wanted to revert?
For the first time in my life, I wanted something and I just went for it. I have wanted things in my life, but I always had this mindset, oh, they will come to me. But this one, I took the first step. I said, you know,
Wow.
I'm gonna do it. I found myself thinking too much, not only about the Palestinians, but about Allah. I couldn't stop. Like
Mm,
anywhere I went to sleep. I was like washing the dishes and I would be thinking, and I was
wow.
just like, whoa, what's going on here? For 2 days, that was just how it went on. Like I was just on and on. From the moment I woke up, it was Allah. And to the moment I went to sleep, it was Allah. So
Wow.
I don't know. And so I don't even know how it happened, but so I have this book of hadiths, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
And
hadiths.
it's in
Yeah.
Spanish. And my friend who's Muslim, one time she went to this mosque and they were just
Hmm.
giving out these books in Spanish, which is like, huh, that's interesting because I speak Spanish. And she's my
Interesting.
friend. It's so curious, right? And
Yeah.
she gave it to me because it was Ramadan. And I wanted to, experience Ramadan with her, so she cannot
Mm.
feel alone. So I wanted to do it, and we started doing it. And then I don't know, she maybe thought I was really interested in Islam, but I wasn't that interested, if I have to be honest. But I was
Yeah.
curious though. I was curious, and she gave it to me, and then I read it a little bit, but then I just left it there. I'm sorry. And then
Yeah.
the day that I couldn't stop thinking about Allah, I grabbed it and I read it, and I sent her a photo, and she was like, "Oh no, what's this mean?" And I was like, "I don't know, I don't know what it means, but I don't know. Let's see where it gets us."
So did you grow up religious at all before
No,
that?
no, we were no. My mom, when she was young, she was a Catholic, so she has these Catholic teachings that she did teach us. But we didn't go
Yeah.
to church and we didn't read the Bible, so she just like installed in us things that were installed in her when she was a child,
Yeah.
like how to pray,
Yeah.
or um, when you get scared, what to say before you sleep, what to say,
Mm.
things like that, simple things. So, but we were not really.
So when you look back, do you have any idea why those things didn't maybe resonate as much as I guess when you started learning about Islam?
100%, I have to be honest with you. I never thought of Jesus, Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, as I don't want to be like offensive or anything, as powerful. I always
Yeah.
in the back of my head I was like, I'm praying to Jesus. Why I'm not praying to God?
Right.
I was like, why am I not?
Right.
I was like, why am I praying to Jesus? Like, what is Arr? Because I never really saw it as Jesus being God. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense. So when they told me I'll pray to Jesus Christ, I was like, no, I'll
Why?
pray to God. I was like, I'll pray to God. And they were like, pray to Mary, and I was like, she was a human being, like, Miriam,
Yeah.
she was human. And so I don't know, I feel like Catholics tend to pray to like saints and virgins, but they don't do anything, because to
Yeah.
me the one who holds the power is Allah, not them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my opinion, I do not mean to be offensive, howsoever, to the Catholics, because
No,
my
of
family is
course.
Catholic and I still respect them. But the way I see it, it's quite contradicting.
Yeah. And for me, I always find it so amazing how we just knew. Because as you're speaking, it literally brought me back to when I was a kid. And when I tell you, Anna, I was maybe like 6 or 7. And I just remember asking someone in my family, who is Jesus? And then I hear, oh, Jesus is God. The first time I heard that, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Cool. Right? Because I always had like a love for just God. Even though I didn't really know who God was or what God was or where God was or anything, I just felt the concept of God just made so much sense to me. Like it was just in my heart. But then the second that I heard someone else say, oh, Jesus is God's son, but then I thought, but that's not what the first person said. Like, I don't understand. And then when I realized that Jesus is portrayed as a human, the same feeling that you had, why would I not pray to God? And why would I choose to pray to Jesus instead? It just didn't make sense to me at all. And just like what you're saying, it's not in a disrespectful way, but
It's just this feeling. You're just like,
it's a feeling.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, it
there.
just
It's
doesn't it
just
doesn't add up.
simply there. I feel like we can relate, because when I was little, when I went to church, I do remember I went to church like 2 times in my life, in my country, and I always cried. I
Mm,
always cried. I always cried. Like, and I would hide myself because I didn't want my mom to see me cry, but I would always cry. And I would love God, but I was like, who's God? But I never, as a
mm,
child, I never saw it. So like, I never pictured it as Jesus.
mm,
I couldn't picture it at all, because I was like, who is God?
mm.
But why do I love him? You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
installed in
yeah,
us, that love, but we just didn't comprehend it.
yeah,
That's
yeah. And that's how I look at it too. I I think that every single person is born with that love in their heart. And
100%.
just some people are in different circumstances where their minds just have to catch up to it. And everyone's journey for their minds to catch up is different. I think that is the only separation between people. But I think everyone has that in their heart. And I think that is such a blessing because we didn't put it there. Like you didn't put it there. I didn't put it there. It's just there. And it's just so, I find it so beautiful. Like, subhanAllah, I find it so beautiful.
It's
So, what would you say has been the easiest? Let's start with the most challenging aspect
the
of you
most
reverting.
challenging aspect. Can I be real? So I am a person
Yeah.
when something big happens in my life, I actually do not get scared. It's such a really
Mm,
random fact. So some like very tragic things have happened in my life, but I have moved on like really quickly. So
mm,
subhanallah, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right there. He
subhanallah.
helped me. But when it's a small issue, I can't bear it. I can't bear
Mm,
small things. So for me, small problems become so huge because I just make them like I extend them to a point where I can't even handle them. So
mm,
the biggest problem with me right now is long before I was like maybe Muslim, I had like OCD tendencies. But
mm,
now with impurities, I can't. Sometimes I'm like, why
mm,
Islam? Why Islam? And then I'm like, I catch myself and I say, no, it's not Islam. It's Shaitan. He's trying to make me waver.
mm,
And
mm,
but it still gets me because I just wanna. I don't feel clean even in my own skin. So that's where like that's when
mm,
the OCD just hits you, you know. And so
mm.
that's been really hard on me lately. I may face
Yeah.
other problems later on. Like my family, they
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
like me following Islam. But Loki, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Subhanallah.
I don't really care what they say, and if they try to stop me, I'll tell them no, you can't stop me from doing what I feel is correct. Um,
Subhanallah.
like I'm like for example, my mom and my father are coming soon, and they're gonna have a talk with me, you know, about my change because it was so big. And
Yeah.
but I'm just gonna like I hope well inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me the right words that allows me to sentence
Inshallah.
them very correctly so I can speak only with kindness and like beauty and show them truly what it is to be Muslim is to be just you know Islam is really easy, like it really is super easy, but
Mm.
what makes it hard is because how we grew up we have to change so many things that we used to
Yeah.
know. And so that's where it becomes really hard for us. But, you know, reverts, because we have to change so much things. And so many people literally like start hating us for no reason. And then so many people leave us for no reason, you know, just because we're Muslim. So when
Mm.
people do not know, they fear.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
And
guess
it's in our nature. It's
yeah,
because change, honestly, at a primal level, can be scary. Because when you really think about it, to survive, you often need to just know what to expect. You need to know your environments. So where it's almost in our nature to fear the unknown, right?
100%.
And I think there's two different people. There's one, the type that will just embrace it and then see if it's better or see if it's worse. And then there's another side that will just fear it and turn the other direction or hate it from afar. And I think that it comes down to your heart, how you actually approach it, how you approach change. And I think because even for me, I think for me, I've always felt a little bit sad the closer I got into Islam, seeing people that aren't in the folds of Islam. I don't know if you have that feeling too, where you
100%.
just want it for them so much,
Yeah,
right?
I question what if they go to hellfire? I don't want them to go to the hellfire. I don't want
Yeah,
them to be non-believers. But how can I change somebody? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change people.
exactly.
We 100% humans can influence others. But the real change, the change in the heart, that's him. And we can just try to influence others. We can just try to lead somebody to the right path, but it's all up to
Yeah,
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the end.
100% indeed. And I always tell people that you just need to be Islam. Sometimes it's not even what you say, it's how you say it, it's how you
100%.
move, it's how you behave. Because I think what this situation in Palestine, this genocide in Palestine, I think what it did for a lot of people is they saw action. Like they saw people in the worst scenarios just
100%.
still loving Allah, still trusting Allah, where they almost wondered how is it possible that they still have that love for God? Because they would try to place themselves in that situation and ask themselves, what would I do if I'm losing everything, right? So they must have something that I don't have. And then people are starting to look and explore, and their hearts are opening to the idea that maybe Islam is actually a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
right? It's not even the words that they're saying, it's just who they are.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah.
I have to remind myself that.
Yes. I mean, sometimes we're gonna face things, but we have to remind ourselves of how strong Islam makes you. And so we can't waver. You can't just stop what you're
Mm,
doing because you feel this way, or because something happened, or you did something and it didn't go your way. You can't just put a stop to it. You must carry
mm,
on. Life is now. You know,
mm,
life is now.
100%.
Life can change in 1 second. So let it be the
Yeah.
last thing that you were doing, uh, be a good thing. For example, let's say you were mad because you had to pray your salah. So I
Mm,
do remember one time I was too like I was just too whatchamacallit. I was so mad that I couldn't like have concentration in my salah. So I had to repeat it
mm,
and repeat it and repeat it. But then
mm,
I tired myself out. Like it was so tiresome. And
mm,
and then I had this disgusting feeling. I was just like, oh man, I really don't want to do this no more. And then I said,
mm,
whoa, calm down. I was like, man,
mm, mm,
because you know we're just starting this, right? So you have to get in the practice of salah and everything. And and I said to myself, whoa, stop, Anna. Let the last like, what if this was the last prayer you ever did? So you're gonna let that last prayer be like the worst one that you ever did? Come on, get your
mm,
stuff
mm.
together, you know? So that's like really good advice right there, to just pray like it's your last time. Like you about to die. Like after that prayer, you
Yeah.
about to die, 100% guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'll start seeing things with like a new perspective because you're like, whoa, I can't let this like get the best of me.
Yeah. Because then you start living in the moment a lot more. You start treating every moment like it's your last. And that's very different than if you treat every moment as if you're going to have 100 more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
Even
like
just
it's
the
different.
regular mundane things. Like you'll treat it as a
100%.
blessing.
It truly is, yes. It really, no, truly, truly it is a blessing. Sometimes I'm like, ah, man, I like, again, the same routine. But then
Mm,
because it truly, I have the same routine every day. And, but change will come. I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has changed me. And, but you know, I still wake up and then I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the blessing. Like, this is the most like amazing blessing that you will ever get. Like this equals nothing to richness or anything else, but life itself. He has given you life again because you woke up.
mm,
You woke up.
mm,
So then you say the world is mine. Let's go. He's given you life. He's
mm-hmm,
given you another opportunity. You know.
mm-hmm.
So I always keep that in mind to those who sometimes get sad and depressed about the same routine, about life not being where you want it to be.
You strike me as someone who is so wise, but then also very, like, very poetic the way you speak,
Thank you. I
and
really
very
appreciate
insightful and enlightened. Like, where did that come from?
it. Where did it come
Of course, of course, Allah
from?
subhanahu wa
Allah.
ta'ala,
Well, of course.
but
I
have
was
you always been like that?
yes. I actually have. Yes, I have. Ever since I was a child, actually, I was. I try my best to say what sounds, coherent. I want to sound coherent. I want to sound eloquent. You can't be sounding too goofy. Of course, you can be goofy sometimes. You're a human being.
Mm,
Relax. Um, but when it's something that is very highly important, like Islam, you can't just go around there and say whatever you want to say. But life itself, you can't go around saying random things about it because life is such a blessing. Um, and ever since I was small, I think I was like this because I remember one time, I was, I'm sorry, I was about 6 years old, and I feel like I've told this story before. And I sat on a log of this this tree fell down a long time ago in my house, and I sat on it, and I was like, "Where are we? What's our planet? Planet Earth? What is that?" Where is the planet? The solar system? Where is the solar system? The universe? Where is the universe? What is the universe? And then I would think so much about the universe, my head will go completely white. Wallahi, wallahi will go white. No thoughts, nothing, no thoughts, nothing. And my head would hurt so bad. It hurt so bad, and I would have the headache until like I went to sleep. And I used to do that. I was such a like young girl. Like I was 7, 8. Like what? A 7-year-old was thinking about those things. Like to the point where the head hurts. Like it's so random. Now that I look up back at it, I'm like, bro, what was I on? Like, what? It's just very curious that like the random things that we did as a child kind of really just explains how we are now. You're like, oh, that makes sense now. My dad is very philosophical, and my dad is such an eloquent person, and he's a man who uses those big words. He's the man who uses those long words, if you know what I mean. So one time, sometimes my dad be talking, and I'm like, no, I don't understand.
Can you repeat that?
I'm like, nah,
Dictionary.com.
I'm like that. You have to tell me that like in a different way. And he explains it to me like a watered down version, and I'm like, yes. He's a very intelligent guy. My dad, he's such an inspiration for me because he's so extremely smart. And my mother as well is her character. She's so strong. So when you combine this strong character, and she's not afraid, and my dad is eloquent with his words. My mom is also smart with her words, but she doesn't really care too much about it. You know what I mean? And my dad, he kind of does because every time he goes to somewhere and he reads something, automatically, like, he remembers it. And then he says it. And then he knows how to put it in a sentence. That's what amazes me about it. Like, he could hear something on the radio and he will know the meaning of it already, and he uses it in his speech. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre how his mind works. And my mother is strong-hearted. So combine those two, I always say I am both my dad and my mom, 100%.
You got the best of both worlds, the best
Inshallah.
of both worlds.
I mean, mashallah. I said inshallah. I mean, I hope so
Mashallah.
too. I hope so too.
So why did you start your YouTube?
Why did
Why
I?
did you care to even make videos?
Okay, good question.
Especially because you just started this journey.
Right. I guess I just really I just went for it. So I went to YouTube. I did about like 3 years ago. I got this idea of starting a YouTube. But I never really kind of knew what it was going to be about. I knew it was going to be about advice, but I just didn't know how to put it out there. And now that I'm Muslim, I feel like it's much easier for me because now I have a target audience, And honestly, I just do YouTube videos to express myself. So the moments I do YouTube videos, it's when I'm really feeling inspirational. So I never script my videos. It's just me talking, right? Because it's truly I sit down and my heart is literally open to say whatever I am feeling. So it really truly comes from the heart. So I think for me, YouTube is very special.
What would you say to someone that is like this close to reverting? Like they're so close. Like they're one step away from embracing Islam.
I would say everything happens at the right place and time. So if you are close to it but doesn't happen, just do not waver too much and do not think too negative about it. Maybe it was just not the time. It will come back to you. What is meant for you will always come back to you, no matter how much you try to avoid it. That simple thing is always going to be there, and it will always find a way to come back to you because it belongs to you. So there is no way you can escape it. There is no way you can just be like, oh no, I don't want it. Okay, you don't want it, but it's yours regardless.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But with Islam, you should, if you feel like it's a matter of how inclined you are to it. Are you inclined to it in a good way and you really want to? Are you inclined to it but you kind of are holding back? Then it is two situations, and then depends on the person, you know. Because those who are like inclined to it and really want to revert, but there's still some doubt, we have to fix the doubt first. Now, a person who wants to revert and there is no doubt, it's just the circumstance that they're in cannot allow them. Maybe we can step a step back and reflect, and then we can choose. All right, what time is the best time? And the time that's the best time is the time Allah Subhanahu wa Taala wants it to be. So
Amen.
patience is key.
What about the ones that do have doubt?
The ones that do have doubt, we have to fix the doubt. What is the doubt? It depends on the person, right? So this doubt is that, oh, I don't know how my family will react. We have to talk to the person. We have to speak with them with love and kindness. We have to show them support. What people need in this life, and I have noticed when they're like facing even the most crazy and bizarre things, is support. A simple I'm here for you and a hug literally makes you cry. Like I'm about to cry right now. Wallahi. Support is so important, and you know, and the reason why Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, you know, made us humans that love other humans is because support is so fundamental for us to keep going. Otherwise, we will be stuck in the same place always, because there would be nobody to, you know, give us the hand so we can get out of it. We
Yeah,
as humans need each other.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's why there's such an emphasis on community in Islam. And I think for me, there's a lot of things that help me really, really fall in love with Islam. Because just to take a step back, for me, my introduction to Islam was learning about the Quran and just learning how perfectly preserved it is, how miraculous it is, how untouched by humans it is. As a child, all I was searching for is a way for me to just understand God more, understand Allah more, understand our Creator more. That's all I wanted because I had that love. But it's almost like any other relationship, right? If you want to develop your relationship with a friend, you need to know your friend. Know what your friend likes, know what your friend dislikes, know what resonates with them, know what pushes them away. So I just wanted to know more. But as a kid, I couldn't get that with Christianity. But then when I learned about the Quran and I learned that this was literally the direct words of Allah, I knew that every single thing I was reading was something that Allah wanted me to read. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, but eventually Allah would want me to read it and knows that I will be touched by it. So that was my first introduction. But I think as I grew into the religion, community was such a big thing. Like just knowing that Muslims are so supportive. And even when you pray, although we're all facing the same direction and it's about your connection with Allah, the fact that you can look left and right and see everyone serving the same purpose, it touches you because it reminds you that you're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. You come to this world alone and you leave alone. But everything in between, you're meant to be with everyone else, right? You're meant to be with your brothers and your sisters. So I love when you say that they just need support sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, for example, for
That's
me,
it.
like you said, when you are praying, like I love going to the mosque, and when I go to the mosque, is how you say it, or masjid, I
Masjid,
feel
yeah.
so much calmer, and I don't even want to leave.
Me
Like
too.
I just want to stay there. Like I don't even want to come
Yeah.
back home. I want to stay there. And this masjid is like, or sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize. It's very tricky for me to pronounce that word. It's very simple, you know. It's super simple, but like even the simplicity just makes it even better. Like I just want to be there. Like once I'm there, I'm like, all right, let's get it cracking. You know, my
Right?
concentration is so better. There
Yeah.
literally nothing disturbs my concentration when I'm in there. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But when I'm at home, it's just I'm alone, so it just doesn't feel as like like the community. You know, I want to
Yeah.
be with the people. I want to be where the
Yeah.
people are. Just
Yeah.
so beautiful
It's
that I
actually,
want that. You know, like the desire is put by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala there to be with brothers
yes,
and sisters.
100%. I read a hadith,
Hmm.
and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know it word for word, but essentially it's when you walk towards Allah, Allah will run towards you. When you speak to Allah in a group, Allah will speak to you in an even greater group than that. And I think that might be why that when you're in the masjid, when you're in the mosque, that you just feel so much better because you're praising Allah with others, meaning Allah is going to talk about you in a group even bigger than the people that you're with, right? Can you even imagine that?
I can like I can no, and like I was watching a video like the other day because I was feeling a little gloomy, and it says that when Allah loves you, He tells the angels to love you too. Like so, imagine if He loves you, the angels are loving you too. Even angel Jibril.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful. Like that's so beautiful, and like I want people to understand that more. That Islam is really all about love. Like it really truly is all about love. And because
It is.
when you have love, when you have love, you have all the good combinations of all the emotions out there. Because
Yes.
love is not just this like this, let's say this little star. It's this combination of all the good
Mm-hmm.
things. That's what love is.
Mm-hmm.
So commitment, you know,
Mm-hmm.
loyalty, like wanting to change for the better, you know, that is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess a lot of people just
100%.
don't see it that way because they never been introduced to it that way. So that's a
Yeah.
problem.
And honestly, like I'm so happy you brought that up because love is also the thing that's going to make you appreciate your trials, you know?
100%.
Because I always say that if you approach your trials without the lens, almost like without that lens, like the glasses of love, you're only going to see all the negative aspects of it. You're not going to see the wisdom behind it. But if you approach it with love, you're going to realize that good situations are blessings. Negative situations are blessings too. Because Allah is trying to teach you something. It's like if you had a kid and that kid says, I don't want to go to school. Like it's too hard. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Yes, going to school today is going to be a trial. But if I take that away from you, you're not going to get any smarter. You're not going to get any more disciplined. You're not going to have patience. You're not going to become a better person.
And you're gonna miss
So
out
we
the
have to.
days that actually school was fun.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's all love. It's just trusting Allah and knowing that Allah's not going to put you in a situation that's not rooted with so much love and wisdom, right? The same way you wouldn't send your kid in a situation that's not rooted with love, too. It's the same idea. And if we think that we love someone, Allah's love for us is
Great.
infinitely more. Infinitely more. Allah loves us more than we love ourselves.
That's so crazy. No, and here's the thing I say always. I don't I don't understand my heart. I'm trying to understand my heart.
Oh,
But Allah
yes.
subhanahu wa ta'ala knows my heart. So you see right there, you're in basically you're in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created everything that's around you, the one that knows your heart. Chill, calm down sometimes. You know, I always say, in because I've been struggling lately, right? I keep bringing it up because you know it was lately which it happened, and I said to myself in a goofy manner, I said, "There's a lesson in this. There is a
Mm.
lesson in this. I can't see it yet, but there's a lesson in
Mm-hmm.
this." And then I prayed
Mm-hmm.
my salah, and I made dua and I said, "Oh Allah, make it easy for me to understand the lesson that you have put in front of me." Because I know there's a lesson, but I don't know what the lesson is. At least not yet. You know what I mean? So I want
For you,
people to have that mindset because it really truly makes it way better. Because when you're facing
yeah.
an adversity, you're like, there's a lesson in this. So you try to learn the lesson rather than put all that hardship right on your shoulders.
How has Islam changed you, would you say?
How to has it? My love for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has been it has made me more clean. I definitely tell you that for sure. Um, like in the like how do I say what do I want to say? Also, I have like given up a lot of things I thought I wasn't gonna ever give up.
Me
Like,
too.
but the fact that I don't care about them is what makes it like more special. Because like, yeah, I gave something that I love, but I really don't care. And I move on. I move on. That's Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Just that's Him. He made it that
Yeah.
way. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Because it goes back to what you just said, that Allah is the controller of our hearts.
100%.
Allah knows our hearts like more than we know anything else. So that point that you made about when people are struggling and when people have, say, doubt, I always tell people that what you need to do is just connect with God, connect with Allah in whatever way you think makes sense for you. Because oftentimes it's something in our heart that's preventing us from being able to overcome what we're going through. And if Allah is the changer of our hearts, Allah is going to literally send down whatever you need to solve that problem. It's just like rain, right? We don't control the rain. Rain comes down, rain is sent down. If someone is praying for rain because they need their crops to grow, Allah will send down the rain. And it's just like Moses or Musa in Arabic. When Musa was told to go and confront the Pharaoh, he was scared. He had a speech impediment. He had no support. He had just his brother, and he was about to go and confront the most powerful person in Egypt. He was terrified. He didn't think he can do it. But the first thing he did is he prayed to Allah. And what did Allah do? Allah sent him down tranquility and peace, as if it was rain coming down from the sky. So if you're going through something, ask for your rain. Whatever that rain looks like for you, it's going to come down and it'll enter your heart. And then you'll find that, just like what you said, I didn't even care anymore. Because Allah sent that peace and contentment in your heart. Because you opened your heart for that contentment to come down. And that's all it takes sometimes. It's just leaning on Allah. And that for me is the biggest thing that I take away from this religion so far, is that my tendency is I used to rely so much on myself. I used to put the entire world on my shoulder. I needed to make decisions. I needed to know when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, who it was going to happen with. I needed to be in control. But ever since I reverted to Islam and started loving Allah more, I've started to be able to trust Allah more, to make those decisions, to guide me, right? So I don't have to think about it. And the more you trust something, the more you trust Allah, the more your love is going to increase. And the more your love is going to increase, the more you're going to trust Allah. And it just keeps building and building and building. Just like you were saying, going up that ladder. You're not even going to realize you're taking these steps, but it's just going to increase. And you'll look back and be like, wow,
I did that.
how did,
When did that happen?
right? What? One more question for you. Maybe two. Wearing the hijab, was
Right.
that difficult?
Um, for me, no, it wasn't actually. I found it very easy for me to wear. I started wearing it right after my birthday because I took my shahada. I
MashaAllah.
took my shahada like a week later after my birthday, and my friend took me to the store, and I bought it. $10. Please, please,
Hey,
money. No money. So And I bought it and I put it on and I didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I was a different person. I felt like the same person. I just was me with a hijab on. Like, I didn't take it
Mm,
like it was change that was so big. But like some
mm,
people do. Some girls
mm,
struggle with putting on the hijab because, well, I don't know. Personally, I do not know. But it's a change because it's change. Well, it is change. And sometimes we kind of don't want the change. Sometimes we're just
mm,
hesitant to do that change. Sometimes we're like, oh, change. I don't know. But for
mm.
me, it just came naturally, and I wear it, and I was like, y'all look good. Like that
Hey,
was my
hey.
reaction. I was like, wait, hold on, I look good. Let's go. And but the problem was my mother. She's kind of like, I don't want you to wear it because I want you to put your hair down because that's just wear your hair down. No one's gonna say anything. But I can't. It's so hard, like trying to make her understand that the hijab is not for me like something that, oh, it's because of men, that's why I wear it. No, it's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to wear it. And I obey
Mm,
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who am I gonna
mm.
follow? With all due respect, my creator or my mother. And I love my mother. My mother, she's the world to me, but it's so hard to make her understand this. So I fear that she will try to tell me to stop wearing it. And the fact that I fear that she will tell me to stop wearing it shows like a good faith because I fear that
Yes.
she will take it away from me. I think about that a lot. I'm like, okay, Pearl, maybe I'm on the right track. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but that's
No,
a good feeling,
100%.
because I fear that she will take it away. But for me, like, I go to the store with it. If I go out, I wear it. It's not hard to put on, you know.
Does it bring
I,
you peace?
let's see for me. Um, does it bring me peace? Uh, Can I just be real with you?
Yeah.
It identifies me, right? It gives me identity. When they look at me, they say, "Oh, she's Muslim."
Mm,
And Alhamdulillah, that's what I want them to think because I am Muslim. Um,
mm.
but it um it really just doesn't like change me at all. It's simply there. It's just simply there, like as if I grew up all my life with it on. I feel like nothing really changed when I put it on. I just put on a hijab.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
May
I
Allah
don't know if that's
preserve you.
good. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I don't know why I feel so like indifferent to it. I guess I feel like I've worn it all my life. I really do, truly.
Wow. From the outside looking in, and then we'll close on this, but obviously I'll never know what that journey looks like or feels like. But as you're describing it, it almost seems that your heart is so connected with Allah and you have so much love and fear for Allah that you don't even give your mind an opportunity to think about it too deeply. You know what I mean? It's just you just feel so much love and respect for Allah that if Allah commands you to do something, you just do it. And that's it. So I do think it's a beautiful thing. That just shows that your heart is so full with Allah that I have to wear the hijab. Of course I'll wear the hijab. That's who I am. I'm a Muslim. And I want people to know that. Because I look at myself as a servant to Allah out of love. And I just find that, oh, I find that so beautiful. So beautiful. And what I'll say is that as a revert, and why I have so much respect for women who wear the hijab,
As you
because
should.
it, as I
That's it.
should, as honestly, as everyone should. And I say that because being a revert can be very lonely sometimes, like extremely lonely sometimes. And not even because sometimes even if you're surrounded by other Muslims, it can be lonely because no one will quite understand what the journey looks like, the things that are underneath the surface that we have to go through. And the reason why I have so much love for women who wear the hijab, beyond the fact that they're just doing something for the sake of Allah, literally as a manifestation of what they're wearing, I have so much respect because it brings me so much peace and it brings me so much connection to this ummah. Because if I'm feeling like I'm alone and I step out of the house and I see someone wearing the hijab, I'm literally seeing the physical representation of Islam. I'm literally seeing women wearing a crown that reminds me of Allah instantly. And I find that I'm always going to be indebted to that because for me, I don't have anything necessarily that immediately identifies me as a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
But you do. And that is such a blessing for us and for this ummah. So I just wanted to say that I have so
That's so
much respect.
beautiful. I love that
So much
perspective.
respect.
That's so beautiful. It's a very beautiful perspective.
Yeah.
The hijab. Can I be real with you? The hijab. Like one time I went to this event. And I hope I'm not taking your time. Am
No, no,
I?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I went to this event for Palestine with my friend, and all the women were wearing hijabs. Wallahi, they were the most beautiful. I was like,
Mm.
what's going on here? Because the hijab is modesty, right? And it truly
Yeah.
is. And I'm telling you, this woman were not wearing makeup or anything like that, not at all. But they were so beautiful. The nude, they were shining.
Mm.
So what the
Mm.
hijab honestly does, truly, it and a lot of men are very critical about it, and they say, "Oh no, wear a niqab, like cover your face." But I don't understand why men say that because when we women pray to God, we don't wear anything on our face, so we can show our face to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Who are you? Why am I covering
Mm.
from you? Like, with all due
Mm.
respect, why am I covering for you when I do not cover my face for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He has
Mm.
allowed us to not cover our face, just cover our hairs and, our bodies.
Mm.
I mean, that's the way I see it. So sometimes I get like comments like that. They're like, oh, wear a niqab. No, your beauty's only for your husband. And I'm here like,
Mm.
stop. I just delete their comments. I delete their comments because I don't want any hate in my comment videos, so I delete it instead.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just doing them a favor. Because, like my intention, I know my intention when I make a YouTube video. So I know who I
Yeah.
am. So
Yeah.
I'm doing them a favor because I don't know what their intention is. So I'm deleting that
Exactly.
from the comment section because I don't want anything that can trigger people into like hating Islam. I don't want people
Exactly.
to be like, "Oh, Islam hates women," because that's what it can create, and I don't want that. So I delete them. I delete those comments because it truly one person can. When you write a comment, you don't know the intention. Yeah, so I came away from that. But hey, I'm a person who if a lot of people recommend me that niqab, I will wear it. Like I'm a person who's very open to things. As a matter of fact, I have ordered one. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Wow.
a person who would like just be like, okay, I don't take things too serious, but a lot of guys do take it too serious, and I feel like it's very dangerous um because it can make it, and it's an ongoing thing. Hijab is an oppression. A lot of Westerns think that hijab is an oppression. Oppression is the word, because I feel like
Mm.
a lot of like men and a lot of women too. They're like, no, don't wear the hijab this way. Don't do that. No, 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 no. The hijab is modest, and when you wear it, you have to be conscious that you're supposed to be modest with the way you
Mm-hmm.
move, by the way you talk.
Yes.
This hijab represents modesty. But if a
Yes.
woman is beautiful, and wallahi, when I went to the place, no makeup, I was like, why is she so gorgeous? I was like, I gotta go talk to her. I want to talk to her. So beautiful. What can I do about that? When a woman is pretty, just look down. Just look down, man.
Mm.
Beauty, hey,
Yes.
the hijab doesn't steal the beauty away. Because I feel like when someone is like very beautiful like that, that's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, what can you do about blessing? You just look down if you feel like it will make you think weird stuff. Whether you're a girl or whether you're a boy, just look down. As a matter of fact, we're
Yeah.
encouraged to look down. We are
Yes.
taught to look
Yes.
down.
Especially
And
men.
a lot of people don't practice that. I'm like, what's going on?
100%. 100%.
And
Because it's twofold. It's literally, we're told to lower our gaze for
Yes,
a reason.
men and women, like it's both. But you know, a lot of people
Yeah,
they don't really practice that, and and I love Islam, but I just love I just think sometimes people can misunderstand something, and
and
that can lead to
misrepresented.
hate, and that can lead to hate when it's not being
Yeah,
like treated the way it's supposed to be treated, the way it's supposed to be represented. People are going to think weird stuff, you know. So that's
yeah.
why when women wear hijab, like you said, it represents Islam. And that's beautiful, subhanAllah. But my point is, I have talked a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, no, I love your perspective. It's beautiful.
I hope,
Honestly, it's beautiful.
I hope it makes sense. I hope I didn't say anything really weird. It's just a lot of people really love to assume, and I don't like when people assume because then you're just assuming the worst of me when you don't know my intention. You know,
Yeah.
when I got a comment just like long ago. Oh, sister, delete your YouTube channel, and I was like,
Why?
what? Yeah, I just got that comment and I was like, Aru? I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, who is this guy? Who is this man? You know, because
Did he say why? He just said delete it?
she just said deleted. And I was like, okay. I was like, eh. I was like, oof. Um, I didn't think too much about it because honestly, like, when it's an opinion of a human being, you can toss it away. The opinion
Yes.
of a human being is literally less than an atom. That's how
Yes.
That's how literally like worthless we are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the
Yeah.
end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows hearts. And if you're conscious of that and your intention is pure, I think
You can do no wrong.
I say, what can you do? What can you do, right? If people
Yeah.
think ill of you, that's not your fault. It's kinda
100%.
it's their heart. It's kinda dark because you should never look at a brother or a sister and think the worst of them. You're supposed to think the best even if you don't
Yes.
know them, and even if they're the worst human being in the entire world, you can't allow yourself to be hateful. Because when you allow yourself to be hateful once, that starts the whole chain.
Yep.
And then you just become a hateful person, judgmental. And I always tell people, look at yourself in the mirror. Who are you? Like, who are you? You're
Mm.
nobody without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, no matter how good you are or how bad you are, the one who chooses to save you is him. It's with his
Perfectly.
divine wisdom.
Yes.
And
Subhanallah.
that's beautiful. So we're in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most powerful, the exalted. Subhanallah. So beautiful,
Indeed.
isn't it?
Anna, thank you so much. I knew we would have so much in common, and I knew this would be a beneficial conversation.
I hope
Inshallah, it was.
I didn't yap too much.
Absolutely not.
I
I
tried
think
to
it's
be
such a
focused.
refreshing perspective, very refreshing perspective. And I also want to just say that may Allah continue to make your journey easy and beautiful.
I pray for the ummah who have lost their faith, that their iman is a little low. And I pray for the non-believers, for their eyes to be open and also their heart so they can feel the love and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.